Hello, my little nerds and nerdettes. Please join us for another episode of Mm,
Krawlers.
Dungeon Crawlers.
Sophia filling in for our absent patients. But welcome back. And welcome to the stream, where we once again tried to kill off the main characters, which is everybody here. And I will fail miserably. I will succeed one of these years, but
Nope.
it's
Nope.
coming.
You'll continue
It's
to
coming.
fail.
It's gonna happen one of these times. I
You
don't know
don't have it
when it's
in
gonna
you.
happen. I do have it in me. I feel like I do. I just need to find the right scenario, and it's just gotta be really good. Like it's gonna be some like super awesome. I don't know, like something. I'm just gonna off you guys. I just realized my camera isn't even on, but I'm just gonna. It's gonna be something where I just off you in a really good way. I don't know. It's gonna be good. I just don't know what it's gonna be yet, but we're gonna get it done. So, anyways, we are. What is going on? I got like a bunch of stuff popping up on my screen. Um, we are in the Galarian Wastelands. The group has just um the group has just battled Wily. You guys ran into him by accident. Not realizing that he had set a trap and you guys had walked right into it. The group making their way kind of across the wastelands through the sleeping oasis. You guys are making your way back towards Molten Hammer, and in doing so, um, learned a couple things. You guys learned that obviously it seems like your tasks are not done. Wa um, your tasks are not done with a certain individual demon that you guys have run into. So you guys have to go back and touch base with her to see what else she needs you guys to do. Um, but you guys making your way back towards Molten Hammer, crossing the desert, you guys had run into Wily, who had set up this trap for you. And in this dangerous scenario, the party kind of went in some different directions. Some of the party decided to run towards the outcropping of rocks and seek cover. Some decided to try to get to Wily and fight him off. Um, a rock elemental was involved, a very good role in persuasion, involving the um, involving the help of the earth elemental, which was kind of weird for me because I didn't expect it to happen, but it was kind of a cool little side piece. Um, but it also resulted in as the parties were as one part of the party was charging in, another section of the party decided that this just wasn't the time and went in the opposite direction. So, this being said, as the party approaches this kind of outcropping, this rock that Wiley had posted up on, you do notice that quickly he has stopped shooting at you as you guys get closer. Patients kind of coming up over the top of this outcropping noticed Wiley setting up the last and final phase of his plan. It seems like he is captured and tortured, not fed, injured, something. This young, like red, like almost wormling, like a young adult red dragon, and he has made it very angry, and he was planning on what it looked like unleashing it on the rest of you guys. As he kind of bolts off into the desert, heading back kind of in that molten hammer ish type direction. You guys made chase, but unfortunately, with the bike that he chose to bring out here, he was able to get away at a much faster pace. Um, where we leave off is um, the majority of the group kind of hanging out around this large outcropping. You guys had kind of made chase a little bit away from Wiley as the dragon kind of was semi waking up. And as it was, you guys kind of got away from it. Axel, with Nova in the black hole, took off in another direction. Um, So yeah, we kind of leave off with the party. I would say you guys are probably right around where Wiley was, as you guys were giving that chase. So you're about that far away from the dragon. The dragon is still waking up and very sleepy. But you guys are far enough away that maybe it hasn't noticed you and maybe it won't notice you. Um, so I would say it's about probably I'd say like 1:30. Like early-ish afternoon. So, what are you doing? And we will say that Patience, because Patience isn't here, um, after the fight and the running and kind of, whatever, she's just taking a little bit of a rest on the carpet right now. She's kind of laid down and given herself over to a little bit of a nap for the time being. So, we'll label party one as Sophia, Evelyn, KB, and that group, and party two will be Axel and the rest of the other group. So, party one, what you doing?
Getting out of here, I hope.
Yeah, I would probably recommend getting some space. But up to you.
You can't make recommendations, you're the DM.
Exactly. You do what
Huh?
you gotta do. Mm.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
can't remember. Can we all fit on the rug, on the carpet?
You.
The
But
four
then,
of us can,
Yeah.
yes.
I was gonna say, I think it starts to get weird when you get Nova and Axel on it because Axel's much larger. But the majority
Yeah.
of the party is on the smaller size, and I believe you guys were able to all get on.
smaller size.
uh, yeah, I think we just want to get on the carpet and book it.
I'll look at KB and do we even know which way to go? I mean, I'll look up at the sun. I assume the sun's a little bit low in the sky at this point.
It's about midday, and it is shining bright.
I
It is.
think we need to go north. We were traveling this way, so I guess once the
Yeah,
day gets later, we can use the sky for reference. But I've never had to do that. I was trying to follow what Axel was doing, but he knows this place way better than I do.
I think we can realign in a few hours. Right now is just leave the dragon.
The other option is I could track down Axel if we wanted to. But I think he
But
proved that. I think they both proved that when it really matters, they're not going to be there to help.
yeah, I think they'll meet us in Molten Hammer, or they won't.
And let's get on out of here. Should all fit.
Yeah, and I'll just try to quietly as I can get on the carpet.
Okay. You guys are about like 100, 150 feet away. You guys can see the dragon, and it's kind of like making a lot of noises and moving around in that general area. But yeah, you guys kind of slowly make your way onto the carpet. Patience kind of like sprawled out a little bit, beaten up, bruised, has dropped her invisibility. Um, ugh.
Dinge, to navigate, I think over the next few hours until it becomes obvious where the sun's at, I would try and do the best to keep going in the direction we were going prior to this fight.
Okay.
And just, whatever line that was, and then once I get a better sense of where the sun's at, try and line it up so we can go pretty much straight north. I think that'd be the best bet that I would have. I don't, unless someone else wants to add.
So if you're
No,
leading the
agreed.
charge, roll a survival check.
I'll give guidance.
Okay. Guidance is plus D4.
I thought that was Nova. I was like, you can't give guidance, dude. You're like 1,000 yards
14.
away.
No, but I can.
14.
14. Okay. And then I'm also going to do this so we can kind of see what's going on and I can hear travel everyone. No?
Get to moving.
There you go.
We're in the ocean
It's not my problem, that's yours.
with Wiley. Oh no,
Yeah,
Wiley's
Wiley.
here! Run!
That's right, bitches. You're fucked, you're gonna die.
Don't mind the invisible dragon.
Respawn. Laters. Boop, boop. Okay. Do this. Boop. 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 So, I would say you're right about. You guys came up around the corner. You guys are kind of. I'd say you guys are like right below the R, roughly. So, so you rolled a 14, okay, and that's. Did you roll with guidance?
That was with guidance. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. I just want to make sure. Wow. Statuses. Dex. Okay. As you guys kind of begin to take off in the direction, Patient sits up and gets rather annoyed. Kind of looking off in the direction that you guys kind of came from, where Wiley was just at, slash the general direction that Axel and Nova had kind of taken off in. And you just hear kind of like muttering under her breath and some like swear words. And she rolls onto her side and she just like looks off in that direction, looking rather kind of perplexed and angry and frustrated. And you can see like she's just like constantly, like she's just balling up her hands and she's got like veins popping out on like her forearms and she just looks very physically upset and mad. But with a 14, you begin to kind of coast off in the desert, trying to follow either Wiley's trail through the desert, where he kind of kicked up some of the sand, but you're trying to keep kind of that same northern type direction as you head off towards Molten Hammer. So now, Group 2, Axel, what are you doing?
Yes, because this is the 6th session in a row that I have been sleeping.
It's not my problem.
Okay, so I'd never sailed away too far. So I will. How many? Oh yeah. For like the next 8 minutes, I'll sail towards the north,
Okay.
back towards Molten Hammer, and then once that 8 minutes is up, I'll momentarily deploy the portable hole and take Nova out and do the same thing.
Okay. Roll a survival check with advantage because of your terrain.
It's normal because I'm exhausted. 16.
16. Okay. you also kind of veer on one of the dunes. You pick up your little shield board, kind of, you do like a little kick flip, put it on your back for a second, you pull Nova out, and you kind of like air out the hole. You let her get a deep breath as she's kind of breathing. You clean off her face and you put her back down in the hole. And as you do, you take off a kind of like a run and like a giant like half pipe. You find like the tallest dune you can. You run up, jump off the edge of the side, and as you do, you pull down the shield and you begin to glide down that dune, gaining speed for the next 8 minutes. It kind of you keep this coast and you take off, and you're heading in that northern direction as well. And I would say at the speed that you're going and the speed that Sophia's going, and because you know the terrain really well, you would see maybe, I don't know, roll a perception check for me.
Sure. Disadvantage 18.
18. Okay. You would see in the far distance, kind of that like miragey dark speck of what you perceive to be your party. Um, Maybe like 1,000-ish feet or so in front of you, making their way kind of in the northern direction type as well. Um, as you guys begin to coast through the day. We'll do a little time skip. We'll say with the rolls that you guys got, you guys make decent, but slowed progression in a northern-ish type direction. It does become difficult at times, Sophia, because you don't really know where you are. But one of your guiding posts is the fact that you can basically see the mountains from where you're at, like the start of the mountains. So you kind of use
Yeah,
that.
I would keep the mountains to my right, and I know as long as we keep going north, at some point we'll hit the river because we traveled along that way before.
Yep.
And I've seen the map since then. So I would at least know that at some point we'll hit the river and we can take the river the rest of the way. That'd be kind of my thought.
Yep. And easily done. Like I said, you're able to see kind of the mountains and where you are to them, and keeping them at an angle you're heading in that general direction. You kind of just begin to coast. As the light kind of begins to fade for the day, you put a decent amount of hours between you guys. You do make it to the edge of the mountains here, where we'll say kind of like where you guys had camped that one night. Like right about
Sophia
there.
would be spending a lot of time in her books, practicing new spells.
Okay. The light begins to fade for the day as you guys make your way to the southern edge of the mountains there, and kind of the Death Peaks. The light begins to kind of fade out. You guys come into that same kind of crevice that you guys had come before, where you guys had kind of camped in that like little rock outcropping. Sophia and that group, you guys are the first to pull up into that little area. Do you try to continue going, or are you guys stopping here for the night? I would say at this point it's around, I want to say like 6, 7 o'clock at night.
I think, given the fact we're a little beat up, we're a little tired, we know the spot. This is a place we can put up the chalk door. I think I'd turn toward the party and...
You guys want to rest?
Yeah, we both
Yeah.
should.
Patience kind of rolls over and gives you like a half-hearted smirk. Still visibly frustrated, but she kind of gives you like a little nod.
We'll look at him. He's on our list too.
Turns.
Unfortunately, this list is growing, not shrinking.
Smiles at you, kicks some sand, and kind of sits on the rock, like, I don't know, like 25 feet away from away from the group and the carpet, and she kind of just sits there with her back kind of turned, and she picks up little pebbles and begins to kind of like toss them across the sand. You guys begin to set up camp, or what you doing?
Yeah, probably.
Lighting a fire or anything like that, or are you guys just kind of getting things unpacked, putting up the door,
Well, if
trying
we're
to...
planning to stay in the door, I don't know if we would need a fire or not.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. So you guys begin...
KB makes a pretty comfortable room. So.
So you guys begin to kind of set up. You find a large enough rock, and you guys begin to kind of set up the door, unload certain items, move certain things into the doorway. At this point, Axel, not being super far behind, you guys would kind of come around the corner. And you would see kind of in the distance, like the group, like like 500-ish feet away, 400 feet away, roughly. You see you see them kind of clustered together, unloading things and setting up the door. What are you doing? Are you continuing on a different direction? Are you trying to stay away from her? Are you gonna pull up on the group?
No, like nothing really like that. I'll post up probably like I'd say maybe like 100 feet away, and I'll start doing my regular thing. I'll set up the tent, whatnot.
Okay. A little more exposed. You not within the doorway, but you kind of find a spot that's up against the, like a rock outcropping slash the side of the mountains, and you set it up so it creates like a shelter, like a makeshift shelter. You also set up the tent and kind of begin to bed up for the night. I'm assuming no fire from you either.
No, I am going to. I'll tip for the first hour. I'll take a short rest, where I don't sleep, and then for the remaining 7 hours, I won't. I will not be going to sleep again.
Okay.
Oh no. Would that be level 4 if you failed?
Level 3.
Ugh.
But
I need to put
you
that back
begin to
on.
set up camp. What are the passive perceptions for Sophia, Evelyn, KB? Trying to remember.
21.
Helitrus is like 35 or something like that. Pretty sure
I'm
yours is
11.
the same.
It's
Patience
21.
is?
I'm 10. I'm 10.
Oh. Okay, so Sophia,
Oh.
you don't notice. Evelyn's is high. KB,
11.
11. Okay. And then I don't know what Patience's is, but Patience is kind of checked out.
What's Evelyn's passive?
21.
Yes, it's bonkers.
Yeah, so Evelyn, you would notice as the group is they're bedding up, they're beginning to walk um, into the makeshift doorway slash camp. You would see kind of in that distance, Axel has set up against the rock face, and he set up like a little tent, and you kind of see him like lurk a little bit and kind of look in your general direction, and then he goes back to what he's doing. Um, about 150 feet away, roughly.
I would point it out and then say that I'm going to do. Is my trance 4 hours? I think.
Yes,
Yeah, half a.
I want to say it's half.
So-
Yeah.
I'll stay up for 4 hours and then I'll trance the second 4 hours.
Okay.
So I'll stay outside of the door for the first 4 hours.
Outside of the door for the first 4. Okay. And Axel, you're staying up completely?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna set up an alarm on the inside of the hut. If anything were to enter, it would wake everyone up.
Okay.
Now, since Evelyn mentioned seeing Axel, I would include Axel as part of that. So Axel would not trigger the
Be
alarm.
able to enter?
He can enter. I don't think I can prevent that.
Okay.
But Axel would not trigger the alarm if he were to enter.
Okay, he would not. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Patience kind of sets up a spot on the opposite side of the room, getting him, frustrated and I can't believe we're going. Can't do her voice off the top of my head.
Boston.
But Boston.
Like we Boston.
Yeah, I
AG.
need a little. I can't believe we're gonna let him just stay out there without kicking his ass. A little too deep.
Got a little Midwest in there, but it worked.
Little Midwest. Whoops. Sorry, people. I am from the Midwest.
Can't do a Boston accent.
We don't do Boston accents real well. We're from the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you know.
There you go.
Welcome
You
to
when you're playing Patience, do a Midwest accent.
There you go. Oh, who blues?
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe we're gonna let him stay out there like that. Fucking ran on us. She kind of has her back continued to turn towards the group. Lays down. She kind of like lays down and does like that half shoulder with her back turned, irritated. You can see her like scratching the sides of her head.
If you want to go talk to him, go ahead. I don't want to look at his face.
Don't want to talk to him. I want to fucking smash his face in. Yeah.
He
Whatever.
doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve your thoughts.
Shit. Yeah, well, unfortunately he's in there, and I just want to, I don't know, grind his face to stupid dog. And then she walks over and grabs Sophie and just passion. No, I'm just kidding.
The fuck?
No.
Don't give
I've turned
Ginge
this into
control
a
of your characters.
romance. Why not?
Because this is what
As
happens.
she slowly makes
He's
her
not-
way to the side of Sophia's bedside,
Slowly runs her hand
slowly
along your
caresses
shoulder.
the bed sheet thing roll that you have on the ground.
All right. What's
Sophie.
happening next, please?
Anyways,
I mean, tieflings are naturally horny.
exactly.
So
But Patience just kind of rolls onto her side in a irritated and upset manner. I mean, you've been around her before, Sophia, to notice that, like, it kind of reminds you a little of, like, when she would lose fights, like, horribly lose fights. Like, just that frustration and anger and, like, almost like needing an outlet, but she doesn't have one. So she just tends to shut down. But
yeah, I'm used to it. Unfortunately, there's
So-
not a lot in here for her to just go and destroy, which is normally her outlet.
correct. But you guys kind of get comfy for the evening as Evelyn, you begin to make your way towards the outside of the makeshift kind of hut, and you sit yourself on one of the rocks that's outside. That's pretty close by to the door, and you turn yourself into a direction that you're able to kind of watch Axel to see what he's up to.
I want
And
to watch
you do-
everything, not just him.
Well, yeah, but you turn yourself so that you're looking in that direction, and then you're obviously turning the other direction, but you're focused. So, roll a perception check to see how well your first shift goes. You as well, Axel, as you kind of setup, and we'll get to you here in a second. I just curious, like
21.
perception-wise. 21. Okay. You see everything.
Dark vision.
Okay. Axel.
The first one, second one, so 10.
Okay. The exhaustion, the fatigue is beginning to kind of get to you mentally. As you find yourself, set up on your post, you've pulled Nova out of the hole, which you haven't aired in a while, so she's blue in the face and she's passed away, for at
You
least
did
at
a
least
time
3
skip.
hours. No, I didn't. Nope. Axel didn't air you.
You did
I'm
a time
sorry.
skip. I have it
You can
recorded.
blame Axel.
You did a time skip.
But you've got her set up, on her bedroll comfortably, tucked in, and you're watching her sleep peacefully as you set yourself on one of the rocks, and kind of the warm rock and the feel of the sand between your toes just feels it's as much as it puts you on edge, it's also a comforting feeling to a degree, and you feel yourself not fall asleep, but you're not really in that like strict zone of watching everything that you usually are very guarded about, and you kind of find yourself like doing that that long blink where you blink, you're like, I'll just blink a little bit and then I'll hold it for a second, it'll rejuve my eyes, and then you kind of notice like, ooh, we closed my eyes for 5 minutes, oh shit. And then you kind of find yourself like, sitting back and forth and rocking, and you're looking in all directions, and you're very distracted with everything that's going on. But the first shift goes by without a hitch, no issues at all, as the sun begins to kind of set and you guys get comfortable. Second shift goes by, or comes to, so Axel and Evelyn again. If Evelyn, you're doing a secondary,
This is the second hour?
this is the second hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So after this one, you would go to do your trance.
No. 4 hours for trans.
Yes, I knew that.
14.
Second shift. So
Sure.
are you usually do 3 shifts a night? So assume it's like 2.5, 3 hours per shift ish.
Roughly. So what do you got? 17? And Evelyn?
14.
I was
14?
rolling my hit die because I took a short rest. Hold on, let me get
Oh,
the
gotcha.
perception.
I was gonna say, that's pretty good.
12.
12? Okay. You still are having issues paying attention a little bit, but you've managed to kind of like, pinch yourself, you slap yourself a little bit. You're like, trying to focus really hard as you find yourself just really getting tired. Evelyn, same as you. You haven't needed to trance, but you do find yourself extremely worn out after the day's events. Um, One thing that you do notice is kind of in the far distance, out in the sands, you notice kind of like movement. Seems to be shadows of like several hundred things far off in the distance. You see kind of like along the peaks of the dunes, like rows of dark shadows, and then they kind of disappear. And it was from the direction that you guys came from, but like far, far out. Second shift goes by without a hitch. Third shift, Evelyn and Axel again.
Well, is this when I'm going in? Like how much has passed?
4 hours.
So 4 hours. Yeah.
Then I need to go in because I need 4 hours to trans.
See, and that's what I said. Yeah.
I thought you were doing hour to hour or something. I wasn't sure what you were doing.
No. So.
7.
7. Ooh. Axel's getting tie. Okay, so Axel. Evelyn, you make your way inside. Is anybody else taking that next shift?
I don't think we were planning on having a watch.
I was gonna say, I don't think they chatted about it.
I would say in her.
Just relying on the alarm.
Yeah. I would say in her irritated state, Patience definitely just like doesn't even roll over. She watches Evelyn come in, and she just kind of rolls back over and continues her sleep. Um, Axel, you are struggling. You find yourself doing longer and longer blinks. Nothing exciting happens. The wind kind of picks up during the night, and you watch the tent move a little bit, and you begin to kind of, when you're super tired and you try to force yourself to stay up, you start to hear and see things. You swear to God, during the night, you you watch like 1,000-ish leagues out across the dunes. You swear you see hundreds of dark shadowed armored individuals moving along the dunes elegantly, without effort, and then disappearing. And that happens on and off over the course of like 2 hours. You'll blink, they'll go away. You'll be sitting there for a while, and you'll swear to God you hear like the clinking of armor or like the movement of sand, and you'll kind of look around you and nothing. Last and final watch.
Yatata. 7 again.
7 again. We'll say because of the consecutive 7s, the last one you force yourself to stay awake, but you find yourself just like nodding off and just fighting it the whole night. You don't see anything or notice anything of value, but you spend those last hours just fighting off sleep and nodding off the entire time. As morning and day come, you find yourself kind of sitting on the rock, and you must have passed out for maybe the last like 10, maybe 20 minutes. Not long, but you know that you passed out for just a tish.
Oh boy, what is it now? It's a 25. Yeah, no chance in hell.
That's a fail.
That sure is. There you are.
As the daybreak comes and the party, you guys slowly kind of begin to like naturally wake up because of the sunlight alarm that KB set for his. I'm assuming KB had the chalk, right?
KB has the chalk. Yep.
Yep. So KB's little like sun alarm, as it drops down from the bookshelf tree that you guys have, this little sun comes down and like illuminates everybody. As you guys are like, oh fuck, and you begin to wake up.
I already had a pillow ready to throw over my head.
Oh yeah. The moment the lights come on, you're like, oh no, and you pull the pillow up over you guys' heads as you guys are slowly fighting it to wake up. Axel, the sun obviously wakes you up as you were doing your last watch in like that last 20 minutes, 10 minutes roughly. You're not sure what kind of time you lost, but you know you accidentally passed out for just a little bit, as you are extremely tired at this point. And you are groggy and slow, and just feeling pretty drunk at this point. Which, I don't know if Axel's ever been drunk before. So, what are you guys doing on this beautiful day?
Roll for weather.
Roll for weather. Who wants to roll?
Is the 100-sided die right?
Yes. Get my tab up.
I guess I'll roll it.
Peas.
22.
22. I don't even know what the fuck that word is. What is this? What is this? Oh shit. I just spilled my beer. Fuck me. That's not
Rip.
good. That's not good. That's not good. Un momento.
Strain this short break is brought to you by Fiji Water. Stay hydrated. Stay in the game.
Is that an actual slogan of theirs? Of
No.
somebody's?
It might be, but I made it up.
Fiji Water has used multiple slogans over the years, including "Every drop is green," "Earth's finest water," "Bottled at the source, untouched by man until you unscrew the cap," "It's not just water, it's Fiji water," and "Nature created it."
Hmm.
Apparently, the Fiji Water Company ran the slogan "Fiji" because it's not bottled in Cleveland. Apparently, the Cleveland Water Department took offense and ran a test determining that Fiji water actually has more impurities than the city's tap water.
Damn. Got him.
Oh no. Fiji water reportedly contained 6.31 micrograms of arsenic per liter, whereas the tap water of Cleveland contained none. This is blasphemy and defamation against Fiji water.
Yeah. I didn't see
I
any
apologize.
sources.
I have to apologize to our sponsor on this one.
And a public apology for the lack of resources on that statement.
Ooh, baby.
I think that was fake news.
Well, I took
Fake
the
news.
air dryer to it, but now my keyboard smells like beer. Whoops. Shit. I'm gonna have to take that bad boy apart, and I'm gonna have to give it a deep clean here pretty quick. Anyways, I left off with the party kind of waking up and getting about their day.
Oh, 22 for the
22
day,
what?
for the weather.
22? Oh, yeah, that was, whatever that is. What is? Ooh, well, that sucks for a certain person. As you wake up for the day, and you guys are beginning to kind of make your way out of the desert and towards the mountains, the um the clouds begin to gray and get very dark. Axel, you being outside, you are the first one to notice, obviously. But it looks like heavy rain / thunderstorms are coming in your direction. So, as you guys begin to kind of start the day and make your way outside, you will notice the heavy, dark thunderclouds beginning to kind of peer their ugly head. As you hear the low roll of thunder coming from the desert. And about 5-10 minutes later, roughly, a heavy downpour of rain begins.
Well,
That's
you
gonna
know what
make
that
for fun
means?
trouble.
It means that it's cool enough to walk, and the carpet becomes an umbrella.
It's gonna be a sopping wet umbrella. This is gonna end up dripping water on you.
I mean, I'd rather have it dripping water than be downpour on
That's
me.
true.
So,
That's true.
as you guys begin to pack up, you guys step outside from the makeshift hut, the chalk hut. You guys notice the clouds, and Axel, you kind of packing everything up in your tired state. You do you do see the heavy rain clouds beginning to happen, and then obviously moments later the downpour. Um, as you
Yeah.
begin to head northward. Anything you guys want to do in the meantime? No? Okay. Um, we'll say because of where you are, we won't need survival checks. It's just going to be kind of a time thing at this point. It's going to be slow moving for some versus others. Axel, obviously, you're going to be moving a lot slower than the party because the exhaustion and the rain and lugging around another body. Are you still going to do the same thing? Putting her in the hole, taking her out every 8 minutes?
No, I think I'm going to. Once I pack up pretty quickly, I think I'll immediately start getting a move on. And I'm going to, I'll put her on my back.
Okay.
And continue on foot.
Okay.
What's the timing like for her waking up?
That would be today around 1-ish.
10 a.m.
Oh, like
10
mid
a.m.
Or 10
midday
a.m.,
then.
sorry. So
It's
yeah,
mid.
so I
Okay.
mean, from where you guys are, by the time you hit the river, we'll say it would be about 10, 11 a.m. The first ones to hit the river obviously are going to be Sophia and the rest of that group, as you guys are making obviously good time towards Molten Hammer. As you guys make your way around the bend, through the desert, and kind of along this cropping of mountains, you do begin to notice kind of the lush green grasslands that is the Sog Marsh, or the end of the Sog Marsh, and where basically some of the clans for Molten Hammer begin to kind of like do their farm fields. As you kind of come around that corner, and you begin to kind of notice it. And then I would say probably half hour later, Axel, you notice it, and at that point, you would feel Nova on your back begin to stir. You feel her kind of moving around, and like she's like taking her head, like moving it from one side to the other, or she'll like put her head back and kind of like and you'll hear like this low like grumbling and like slow waking up.
Sure.
Sophia's group, are you guys doing anything, or are you guys just trying to continue on, hit the elevator up and continue in?
I don't see any reason to tarry.
Got it. So you guys
Yeah.
kind of make your way around the bend towards the gates, passing kind of the large gates, and then the farm fields and these kind of makeshift roads. You see the large goats kind of grazing in the field out in the rain, and the huts, or the small houses and kind of like little makeshift villages that some of the citizens of Molten Hammer have kept down here. Those that have decided to not live in the keep, but rather below the keep. As you guys make your way around the corner, you get to the elevator where there's 2 guard stations on either side, and you watch as these individuals kind of step out, load you on, and you guys take the trip up. Moments later, Axel, you kind of come around that same bend as you kind of see like the elevator begin to kind of extend up, and as you do, Nova, you kind of begin to really wake up at this point, groggily, but you do wake up as you kind of come around the corner, through the gates into the large kind of farm field. Axel.
So I like open my eyes really slowly, kind of look around a little bit, and realize that I'm on Axel's back.
And you see
I'll let Oda.
green, lush, everything around you.
So I'll probably be really confused just because I remember where we were when I fell asleep. So I'm gonna clear my throat and then whisper, where are we?
Immediately, you find a water skin offered towards you.
I'll
Drink.
happily take it.
Yeah,
Been
you
3.5 days. You're on the brink of dehydration. Talk with your mind.
I'll gladly take the water skin and take a big long drink out of it and mind link with Axel. Where are we?
We're about an hour or two short of Molten Hammer.
What? You said 3 days? I've been asleep for 3 days?
Roughly.
How?
A lot's happened.
Yeah?
But I guess to answer your question, you fell unconscious in the sleeping oasis. You got hit with a pretty heavy dose of those spores.
You carry me the whole way?
For the large part.
I'm sorry. I don't know how I got hit so hard with it. Is everybody else awake?
Yeah.
Were they asleep for... Actually, I wouldn't know. Hold on. I wouldn't know about KB, Patience, and Evelyn because they were still behind. So I would have just remembered being on the carpet with Sophia and Axel. So I'm going to reframe my question to, did the other group ever meet up with us, or how did we all meet back up?
That's part of my story. Can we wait until we get inside to discuss it?
Yeah, of course. You said we're about an hour away.
Yeah.
Well, you must be tired. You can put me down. I can walk.
You might still need an hour to fully beat off the effects. I don't mind.
I'm gonna tighten my grip around his neck a little bit, just to try and take some of the burden off of him. And then I'm gonna say thank you again, but whisper it out loud this time.
I'll nod my head.
As you guys take the elevator up, you're meted by the same kind of heavily cobblestoned, like marble-ish type road that leads into Molten Hammer. Heavily rained. The marble is cleaned and just bright, extremely bright for this time of the day. Um, but after several moments, you guys find yourself at the main gate to Molten Hammer. You guys are kind of given the once over by the guards, asked your business, and allowed entry into Molten Hammer as you guys find yourself in the main area for Molten Hammer.
The primary ring.
The primary ring.
The primary.
The primary.
At this point, I'll set Noah down.
Well, you not so much. You guys aren't there
Oh.
yet. It's Sophia's group, first one in. So are you guys doing anything in the meantime, or are you guys just kind of making your way in and then figuring it out from there?
I'm
Oh.
assuming we would talk about where we'd want to go sometime during the long journey here.
Yeah. Do we want to find an inn? I don't. It feels presumptive to think we could just go back to the beans.
Yeah, I'd probably find an inn. Not that I have like any money, really, but Maybe I can heal people to earn some money.
Yeah,
See,
we should.
there's a couple ends. There's the Miner's Cap, Drake's Wing, the Caravan's Pass, and Dawn's Touch. I think we want to avoid Dawn's Touch.
I was gonna say,
That's
I
good.
mean,
That's the best place.
I don't know about you guys,
Think
but
for
like,
yourself, bro.
there was a lot of unnecessary touch at the Dawn's Touch.
There was some touching, whether it was necessary or not. Who's to say, really?
It's you
The
guys'
attendants are
problem.
very insistent there.
No,
Is it-
no,
is-
no, no.
It's Dawn's Touch as in D-A-W-N, right? It's not D-O-N. It's not Dawn's Touch.
You don't know.
It really
don't know.
feels like
Guess
it's
we'll have to go there and find
Yeah.
out. Their best individual is named Dawn. She is
Like
the most.
D-A-W-N?
However,
Or D-O-N?
however
It's
you
D-A-W-N.
it's
Dawn's.
whatever your theater of your mind pictured it to be is what it is.
I mean, it's D-A-W-N, but it could be several different meanings. It could be Dawn as in the sun, or it could be Dawn as in somebody.
all I'm saying is I think KB enjoyed that place way more than I did. So.
Let's just put it this way. KB found a goth mommy muscle, and it brought him to a new enlightenment.
I had to pay them to leave me alone.
So, and one thing you will notice though is as you guys come in and to your right, the Drake's Win, that was currently or was when you guys left, completely demolished, is now rebuilt and larger.
Oh, that's the one where Tristan blew up. That's right.
Yeah, are they? Do they look like they're open? I feel
Yeah,
like it would
if
be
Drake's
good
Wing's
to,
open, then that's where I'd want to head to.
They look
to
very
give them
open.
some business.
It's also the closest one to the
Right.
entrance. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's the two that are close. There's one to the right, that's the Drake's Wing, and then there's the one to the left, the Miner's Cap. Both are about the same difference.
Don't want to go to the Miner's Cap.
What?
So we'll be going to Drake's Wing. No cap.
No cap. Okay. So you guys are making your way towards Drake's Wing. Moments later, Axel and Nova, you guys make your way down the very marbled, clean walk path, and you find yourself at the main gate. You kind of get weird eyes from the guard, as you are obviously carrying somebody. They once over your papers. They check your persons, make sure, you're there. They ask your business, and you are allowed access after several moments. You find yourself standing just beyond the cusp of the front gate. What are you doing?
Okay, yeah. Now I'll set her down.
Now you can set her down.
Imagine my legs would feel a little funky from not walking or
Your
using
legs immediately give out the moment he sets you down.
Well, I'd probably be holding onto his arm as he's letting me down just to brace myself.
Yep.
Just till I can find my feet. But I'll walk holding onto his arm.
I would go towards. Guess I wouldn't really have a preference in my fatigue, so.
I definitely would.
Would you voice it?
Yeah. Especially like looking over and seeing the Drake's Wing as being rebuilt.
It's much
Um,
larger now, and now that it's called the Drake's Wing, the actual roof almost looks like a dragon's wing slanted off at an angle.
Sweet. So I'd probably say, well, looks like they got the Drake's Wing back up and running. We can see if Wayla's there, and I'm sure she'll take care of us since we've taken such good care of her.
Sort of without, so looking off to the side, still keeping my back to you, I would look over and nod and head in that direction.
Towards the Drake's Wing.
Towards the Drake's Wing? guys
couple
make
minutes
your
behind
way.
everybody else.
Yeah. Like, I would say like 10, 15, 20 minutes roughly.
Okay.
Sophia, you guys walk into the Drake's Wing. You walk into the center area, and before it was kind of like a hodgepodge of tables, a little worn down. It was very nicely upkept. Now you walk in, and it is almost like it has like a beer hall vibe. So you walk in, and it's like 3 just long tables, all the way down. And to the far left, a giant fireplace that now sits, and above it there's like random animals from all over that seem to be kind of mounted on like head mounts that are above this giant fireplace that is just burning. And now all of the tables are about 3 of them, and they're good sized tables, and they run the whole length of this main area.
With the
Um,
taxidermy, they probably have a contract with Chuck Testa.
You don't know that.
I don't know if anybody remembers those stupid commercials.
I
That's
do.
not alive. It's Chuck Testa, or whatever he said.
Except for it's actually his apprentice, Muck Mesta.
I
So
gotcha.
he's an orc, comes out of Sogmarsh, real weird guy. But does good work. Cheap, does good work though. But you find yourself walking in, and you're greeted by this kind of like almost like fresh, almost like a cedar smell. Like all the wood, like it's not scuffed, looks really nice. Um, even like the furniture and the plates that they're serving and like all the mugs that they're serving to people are like brand new looking mugs and plates and dining ware, and it is very busy in here right now. You make your way in, and you're greeted by a kind of a heavier set um human female. Uh, could I help ya? You here to get the room, eat, food, or what? Do you want me to sit you? How can I help you, please? She just stares at Sophia, your group.
Oh, a room would be nice. Preferably 4 rooms. Three
One
three
room?
rooms.
3 rooms.
3 rooms.
Okay.
I'll look at
One
the
sec.
group, kind of questioning.
2 rooms. 3 rooms. 3 rooms. Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever they can accommodate is fine. 2 or 3.
Um,
Does one of the rooms have a closet?
but they all have closets.
Oh, then 2 rooms.
Two, 2 rooms, okay. That is 2 silver a night.
I'll look back at the group and I'll just.
Book the room for 3 nights.
And I'll hand over 6 silver.
Okay. First time here, second time here.
First time here.
First time here. All right. We've had a little bit of a revamp, so let me get your room keys. And she goes back and she grabs these room keys that are now labeled with this little number. She takes you kind of in the back area and up the stairs to where you guys were accustomed to those rooms being before. And now you see almost like these balconies that point out to the left side. They point out and they just open up into a balcony, and you see people up there kind of dining. They're more like private booths. And they're like eating and dining up there. She takes you through that hallway where all the rooms were prior, down and out the back, and now there's a whole other building that seems to be almost just like a lodgings building. And you walk across this kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here, Treble. It's the stuff we have in Minneapolis during the winter when you walk the
Skyway.
little like the skyways. There you go. Thank
Skyway.
you. There's like a little skyway, not enclosed, but just like a little bridge that takes you across into this whole other building. And as you walk in, there's just like multitudes of rooms on each side. She takes you down, and on the right side, she opens up the 2 rooms, and you open up, and they are good. I mean, they're good-sized rooms. Two small beds in the bedroom and a closet, and there seems to be a wash basin and other necessities.
I'll keep one of the keys or whatever for me and Patience, and I'll give the other key to Evelyn.
Okay.
Oh, I'll take the key.
Moments later, Axel, you and Nova walk into the Drake's Inn, and you get that same kind of view. Just a completely revamped and new Drake's Wing. And you are. Oh, good.
Would I see that same lady?
Yep, you would also notice kind of coming down the back corner that heavier set, kind of larger woman. That she's coming from kind of where the rooms were previous.
Do I recognize her? It's not Wayla, is it?
No, you do not recognize this one. Get out of here.
Okay, so I'd wait for. She's busy. I'd wait for her to, or just to make eye contact with somebody that clearly works there.
It doesn't take very long, and she spots you and kind of beelines in your direction as she slaps somebody on the back of the head and tells them to pick up, whatever it was that they dropped on the ground. And she walks up in your kind of direction. Welcome to the Drake's Wing. How can I help you? And are you here first time? Drink, food, in. What can we do you for?
Return customers from prior to when this was remodeled. Is Wayla still here?
She is. She's off for the evening. After she rebuilt and gained a little bit of money, and she's doing very well for herself, and she's been able to hire extra help.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. We were definitely very worried after what happened.
Oh, she bounced back real quick.
I'm glad. She deserves it. Did a beautiful job here.
Well, thank you. My brother did most of the work.
Oh, he's an excellent architect.
Thank you. I will let him know.
Well, we'll need rooms and food. Would it be possible to get food in the room? Or would it
We can bring food up to your room. Yes.
Scratch the food. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, just a room then? Do you have rooms? A room with two beds?
Plenty of rooms, and all of our rooms come with 2 beds. We do have some rooms that require more beds, or if you want, we can do one room with one large bed.
No, two is fine.
2 beds. Okay. Sounds good. That would be 2 silver a night.
I will give her a gold. We may stay for a couple of nights. I'll of course let you know if we need to book further accommodation.
Not a problem. And she kind of reaches back and grabs a key from on the other side of the. And grabs a key on the opposite side of the counter, and he brings over the key to you. She brings the key to you, and if you'll follow me this way, I will take you to your accommodations.
Thank you.
Um, She takes you up the stairs the same way, and you kind of look around, and at first you're thinking she's gonna stop, but you notice kind of the balconies to your left, and like private, almost like this private balcony type eating areas, like private areas, and then you notice some of the rooms to the right. She explains to you that they're for like business meetings, like private business meetings and whatnot. Several moments later, she kind of walks you across that skywalk type area, and you notice the kind of large building they built on the back side of this that seems to be built almost into the side of this into molten hammer, like the side of the actual like granite woodwork, and it kind of like comes up and like fans out into this like large building that seems to be kind of built into it. She takes you down the first hallway, and to the left she gives you one of the rooms. She opens it up, and it opens up into 2 very very nice and very like brand new beds, and a closet and a wash basin and other accommodations. Very clean room. compared to what you were here before. And it was clean, don't get me wrong, before when you were here, but
It's
it was
just
kind
newer.
of like on that, yeah, it was on that like used, but like they upkept it really well, but it was in that used, whereas everything now is like brand spanking new.
Yeah, it needed to be restored before.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll look at her. And I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
Ah, my name is Mera.
Mira, I'll extend my hand. Nova.
Nice to meet you.
And this
She
is
kind of
Axel.
grabs your hand, and it's just like this big, almost like a pudgy fingered, very firm hand grip, and the extremely calloused.
I'll give her a good handshake.
Okay.
And then I'll just say, if you see Wayla before I do, let her know that I'm glad to see that she's doing well.
Of course. She will be in tonight to check on the work. So if you find yourself downstairs tonight, she will be in. So hopefully we see you down there. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will go in the room.
Before she
Unscrew my smile.
leaves, I will off to the side sort of say, before you go, I've got an abnormal request.
Ye?
Would you be willing to part with a few ingredients from your kitchen storehouse?
Depends on what you need.
I will hand her a written list in common.
Okay. Moments later, she looks at it and we have an overabundance of some of this. That item, as she points at the protein, will be a little bit harder to get. Are you looking for just kind of mediocre, or are you looking for more of like robust?
The highest quality you have.
I will have to leave for a moment to get this, but I can have this done today if you need it.
That would be good.
Okay. Okay. She takes off and tells you she'll be back within, you know, a little bit.
Okay. Alright, I will head inside the room then.
Anybody doing anything in the meantime?
You say they do room service?
They do room service.
I need food for me and my plant.
Okay. You will notice kind of a on the
Evelyn's eating
back
for two.
right on the back middle of the room. There seems to be almost like a little door that you can open and has a little red tag that says "Pull for service."
I'm gonna pull it.
Pull it. You pull it. Moments later, a knock on the door.
Wow, they're so fast. I'll answer the door.
The door. You mean the telephone doesn't ring? What the hell?
What's a telephone? Um, a extremely frail and small gnomish individual, in kind of like a little suit and tie, shows up and can I help you?
I want to ask him if he can send basically like a charcuterie board.
What is a charcuterie board?
I need an assortment of of fruits and vegetables and greens and stuff.
Bring us your finest meats and cheeses.
Yeah. Shocked, he looks at you. The angry goblin from the corner.
On a board. Slice them nicely.
Give me a piece of raw wood from the forest and put a bunch of shit on it.
I mean,
It's literally
that makes
it.
more sense. We can't do that. I will be right back. Takes off.
Literally gonna wait there with the door open.
Okay. I would say probably 20-ish minutes later, he returns with a what looks to be a tree that he has cut, like this table, this little tiny table of tree, and he's laid a bunch of cheeses and meats, and it's just in a pile. And he kind of hands it to you, and he looks at you, and he goes, that will be 1 silver.
I'll give him 2 silver.
Thank you, ma'am. And he kind of hobbles back down the hallway, and as he's wobbling down the hallway, with your door open, you notice across the hallway, to the left, 3 doors down, Axel standing in the doorway as he answers the door, as a knock, and a kind of like a bag is handed to Axel. Axel, she charges you what we had talked about 1.5 silver, 2 silver, roughly.
I'll give her 2 silver.
2 silver. She thanks you kindly as she hands you the basic ingredients. Much appreciated. And she makes her way back down the hallway. As you guys are now left with a charcuterie board of random assorted goodness on a piece of freshly cut wood. And Axel, you are given a bag of vegetables, high-end beef that seems to be cut from something very, very fresh. Carrots, onion, potatoes, a little bit of everything. Looks to
Very
be like
nice.
some bouillon cubes or of some sort, like almost like a little bag or a little pouch of this hardened something that seems to be pressed together, possibly to make a broth.
Very nice.
Yes. So, what are you guys doing in the meantime? Are you just snacking and eating and doing things?
Well, I'm gonna purify food and drink first.
Okay. You
Then I'm gonna snack, and I'm gonna test to see which one my plant likes / gravitates to more.
Okay. You hold up the fruit. Nothing happens. You hold up pieces of the meat. And the more raw the meat, the more it gravitates towards it.
She did. She turned it carnivorous because before it had an aversion to the meat. It didn't
It
want
wanted
the meat.
greens.
Yeah, and now that you've given it meat, it doesn't want greens. It just wants meat.
Oh no! What have I created?
Feed me!
Make sure you don't let that thing free, or we're gonna have like another mutated plant version that feasts on flesh.
The, God dang it, what's the movie called? Help me out. House of Horrors? No.
Yeah, Little Shop
Little
of
Shop of
Horrors.
Horrors. There you go. Feed me! I love that movie. Back when movies were good.
For me, so I'd be curious, because I imagine my stomach's probably growling. So I'd be curious, because Axel declined food service and has now been given a bag of stuff. What you got in there?
Once I close the door, I'll sort of like, turn around in the direction that you're not in, back towards my own side. And I set the bag down briefly, but as I start to take a step forward, I like instantly collapse. Just
I'll go over to you very quickly. What's wrong? Are you just really tired?
as you sort of like go over and look him over. He's been keeping his back to you this whole time, and now you finally realize why. Now that you're in the front of him, he is very clearly exhausted. His fur is frazzled and rife with sand particles. His eyes are swimming with fatigue and sunken. He generally just moves about with a very lethargic gait. He's on the brink of it.
I'm gonna kneel down in front of him. I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation just to freshen him up a little bit. Obviously, I know that does nothing for it, but just aesthetically wise. What's going on with you? Why are you? I know. I told you to put me down. I know it can't just be from carrying me. Why are you so exhausted?
I didn't really go to sleep until you woke up.
Been asleep for 3 days? Or awake for awake for 3 days? Why?
What time is it currently, Ginge?
11, 12, 1, 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, so
3,
5
4
plus
o'clock, yeah.
8. Okay. I do some. He even in game does. I do some like minor calculations in my head before I answer. Say, well, I also didn't sleep before we dropped off the chest, so I think it's been a little over 4 days, 104 hours, I think.
Well, you need to get into bed right now and sleep before you do anything else.
I'm fine. I've been through worse.
I don't care if you've been through worse. You've not slept for many days. You need to sleep.
I wasn't just gonna go to sleep and leave you there, defenseless.
I'll definitely have like a hint of guilt on my face just from the fact that he had to stay awake or decided to stay awake while I was sleeping. I'm sure I would have been okay. Everybody else was there. Nothing would have happened.
So I shake my head. I wasn't like going to let anybody else take that responsibility from me.
But you need to take care of yourself too. You're not... How are you going to take care of me if you can't hardly stand? Gotta make sure that you're in tip-top... What is the word I'm using? Tip-top condition. I almost said position. Oh my god. Tip-top condition for if something does go wrong. If you don't sleep for many days, you're gonna be foggy and disoriented.
I know.
I don't appreciate it any less. I'm really glad that I had you there with me to watch out for me. But now I'm awake and you need to sleep.
Sort of forces himself to get up. Not yet. I still need to tell you what happened, and I need to work on this as he sort of starts trudging back towards the bag.
Can it wait until tomorrow? After you've gotten a little bit of rest?
No, it's better that I don't. It's better that I do it now, so I don't forget anything.
All right. Lay it on me then.
As he sort of gets ready to tell you, he begins rummaging through both his bag and the bag that was just delivered to him, and he begins setting up his mess kit into sort of like a portable cook station. But as he does that, he begins. Okay. What was the last thing you remember
We were on the carpet with Sophia flying through the sleeping oasis to get to the other side while the others waited.
Right. Okay. So, again, you hear clattering of pots and pans, and of utensils. The Sophia had attempted to follow my directions to make our way through, but she miscalculated slightly, and we ended up bumping into a pretty heavy patch of spores. Both you and her fell asleep. Obviously, since she was controlling the carpet, that meant that it transitioned into free fall. We crash landed, I think, about at the 80% mark.
I'll just be
It was
contently listening this whole time, just so that he knows. I'll probably like kneel down and situate myself on the floor while he's setting up the mess kit, and just be listening and nodding as he explains.
sort of continues. At that point, we were pretty in the thick of it. I guess I should consider myself lucky that I'm resistant to that kind of thing, because if I had fallen asleep, we'd probably all be dead. But I quickly got up and I managed to drag both of you out to the edge of the cliff where we had first come in from the other side. I waited an hour, seeing if either of you would wake up, but you didn't. So I took the time to familiarize myself with Sophia's carpet. I learned the command word for it, and I took it back along the cliffside to see if I could go find the others. Of course, what I wasn't expecting to find was all three of them passed out probably about 40% of the way along the cliff face. Seems they had tried to pursue us after enough time had passed. So I lowered myself back down in, and I pulled them all out too. I got hit with it again, but this cursed blood is good for something at the very least, as he sort of looks at one of the veins on his wrist. If I had fallen asleep, that would have been game over. But I managed to bring everyone back to the cliff face where Sophia was, and I decided to set up shop there for at least a few more hours. I think it was 5 more hours. Yes, five more. 6 total. That was when Sophia woke up. I gave her the lowdown on everything that happened. We decided to trudge along a little bit, at least try and make some headway back into the wastelands. I think 6 hours later, 12 hours total. Right, that was when Patience woke up. We decided to bed down shortly there afterwards, and I think it was once 24 hours total had passed, that was when KB and Evelyn came to. So at this point, you had been asleep for about a day and a half. So halfway into your unconsciousness. I continued to carry you, staying up every night just to make sure that nothing happened to you. Damn it. No, that was That was when that happened.
What?
He sort of lets out like a pained wince.
What happened?
It's my fault.
What?
It appears I've been marked for death by one of the local war bands.
Uh,
One of their forerunners visited me in the middle of the night.
well, we don't have to go back into the desert anytime soon. So I'd like to see them try.
And if we do, I mean, I'm putting you in danger just by being right next to you.
I could say the same about you. I'm walking trouble. No matter where we go. Especially after what we found out.
It's not the same.
It is the same.
If you were traveling with anyone else, you wouldn't even be in this position.
No, I'd still be in just as much danger. And there's nobody more capable than taking on danger than you. So I wouldn't be as safe if I was with anybody else. But I do have a question. It seems everybody woke up, well, not super quick, but fairly quickly compared to Sophia and I were in there the same amount of time. Why did she wake up so quickly and I was out for an additional couple of days? Or is that just luck of the draw?
Probably half and half. Half short end of the stick, half different breathing rhythm. You probably just got a bigger dose of the spores while you were unconscious than she did.
Metagaming, unless Axel doesn't remember, he actually took me back into the sleeping oasis while I was sleeping. Which is
Yeah, I
why
mentioned that.
Did he?
Yeah, because I said I came back to just Sophia, not both of you.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, so my bad. So disregard the question then. Okay, so everybody started to wake up. And that was the second day.
Right. The third day, we ran into an old adversary, Wiley. Seems he finally caught on to our tail after being distracted in O'Meara for so long.
Oh,
He,
Wiley. I remember him. He was formidable.
Yeah,
Did you kill him?
No. We got ambushed pretty severely, in fact. He brought out a new toy, some kind of thunder stick. Thing had insane range on it. It must have been at least 200 to 400 yards.
Wow. That's scary.
Yep, and he started nailing us from about 300 feet away. We were, by all accounts, surprised. And if that wasn't the worst of it, he looks like he also recruited some bandits to lie in wait under the sands for us, along with I guess a rogue earth elemental. I'm not sure where he could have gotten something like that.
Okay. But everybody's alive?
Right. Everyone more or less made it out. not without some shots, myself included, but sort of looks hesitant. If you were in that situation, would you have attempted to combat him?
You mean like being surprised?
Right.
We've been surprised before, but it sounds like he was really far away and had quite a squad with him. But more importantly, if you had been sleeping, probably not. I know that you were exhausted too, just from not sleeping for multiple days.
Right. At
And
that point, I had been without sleep for around 80 hours, I think.
so he got a couple of good shots on you guys, and then if you were sleeping, I mean, you'd be vulnerable. I wouldn't even know how to fight without, if I wouldn't be able to just leave you somewhere on the ground, because if there were other people nearby, they could have done something. Could have killed you very easily. So I'd probably say, given the situation, being surprised and him getting off several shots before anything even happened, and with you being vulnerable, no, I definitely wouldn't. I'd probably try to, I don't know, like, get away. It seemed like if he was far enough away, make some distance or get some distance between them. I would say it
Right.
probably wasn't the time or the place for it.
Well, I guess your line of thinking differs from that of the group.
So you guys fought him?
They chose to fight him. I made it clear very early on that we were in no position to fight, and they did anyway.
So what happened then? If they fought him, and what happened?
Fight is a very strong word. As if I'm remembering correctly, not a single spell hit him, not a single crossbow bolt, not a single unarmed strike. He walked away from that.
He wouldn't know that though.
Yeah, you wasn't there.
I was definitely there.
Was
We
he
were on
not
the
too far
opposite.
away?
We were on the opposite side of that cliffside. You went
Oh,
the other
wasn't
direction.
he was with the group for a while. I don't know when he left, but in the
He
beginning
never made
stages.
it to. He left almost immediately before we even recruited the Earth Elemental.
Oh, really? Oh.
Oh, actually, I mean, he can say whatever he wants. So.
Yeah, the truth, which is what I'm doing right now. So anyway,
Bye. Well, sorry, I missed that part. What's up?
no, you're
I
fine.
didn't remember what part of the fight. I remember he was in the outcropping with the group for a little bit. I didn't remember at what point he'd left though. So he was just explaining. All right, carry on.
Right. So where was I? Oh yeah. They charged him, getting riddled with bullets all the while. They did eventually make it to him. Not before he managed to flee on one of those sand bikes. And also not before playing his last trump card. Turns out behind the rock outcropping he was perched up on, he had been riling up a red dragon wormling.
A dragon?
Again, we couldn't see this from where we were when we were in the rocks. You're another 400 feet away on the opposite side of the cliff. I don't think you would know any of this.
You're vastly underestimating how far people can see.
No, I'm telling us exactly what Jin said we could see.
What? I'm
So
sorry, I had to step away
Axel
again.
Axel fled in the direction on the opposite side of the rock. Granted, he went south, but he went that direction, the opposite direction that you guys were on, which is the side the dragon was on. That's what I'm imagining. Anyway, if I recall his direction.
So what are we disputing? Sorry.
How much of the fight would Axel know what happened?
He would have been.
We couldn't really see Wiley from where we were fighting, and Axel's about twice as far away.
And
he's
Axel was
he's
not
on the opposite side of the cliffside.
Axel was not visible to us, right? That was the statement that was made. So it would be, unless he has, vision that's vastly superior to ours, he would have effectively no knowledge of what had happened when we approached.
Yeah, he wouldn't even know that we reached him.
Technically, he would not. Axel, you took off in a southwestern-ish type direction away, because you actually cleared his shooting range, and he could no longer shoot at you. So you were roughly... Fuck, I'd have to look up the specs on the gun again, but I was definitely well over 600 feet is what he was firing from. And you took off in that southwest direction. You would have seen the group at the rocks where you guys were kind of at that outcropping, and then from there the group would have started to make their way towards Wiley. They were having issues seeing Wiley and getting a good direction as to where he was as you were heading in that southwest direction. You would have seen them take off on the Earth Elemental. I think that had been about the last thing you saw, clearly, was them taking off and heading off across the sand. Well, you wouldn't have seen
Probably
Patience
not the
'cause she was invisible.
the whole thing. Maybe until he was behind the rock, probably.
You would have seen the Earth Elemental probably just about get halfway, and then at about halfway, I feel like you would have been too far out of that distance. So whatever happened prior to when the Earth Elemental started to take off and start to go halfway, you had already taken off and you were heading off in that southwest direction.
Right, and the only person at that point who headed out toward the rock was Patience, who was invisible.
Correct.
The rest of us would have been still hidden in the rocks at that time.
Because nobody would have noticed. Well, I mean, you guys knew.
So I don't even think he would
off.
know we took off towards Wiley. I think the last thing he would know is we were still in the rocks.
Yeah, because as we approached, I asked if we could see Axel, because out of character, my thought was like maybe he's going to try to flank him.
Like come
and
around?
And it was stated that he was so far gone that we couldn't see where he was, right?
We were also invisible on the carpet.
Some
When we
were.
Yeah, one was rolled up, pretty much invisible, and the rest of us were invisible.
Yeah.
But when the Earth Elemental went down, we were still in the rocks. Patience was invisible. So if that's the last thing Axel saw, he would have no way to know that we took off toward the rocks. And even if he did stay a little bit longer, like Nova said, we were extremely hard to see because Wiley couldn't see us.
Yeah, you would only have spotted the Earth Element. At that point, you would have seen the Earth Elemental kind of starting to take off, but yeah, there would have been nobody on it because Patience was invisible. Patience was invisible. Sophia was invisible. KB, you weren't invisible at that point. I don't know if you.
I was just hiding.
I was gonna say you were just kind of hanging out next to the rocks, and whatchamacallit, Nova or Evelyn, sorry, would have. I think you were in your wolf form, right? You weren't invisible.
I was in wolf form in the rocks, and then I was made invisible before we left the rocks.
Correct, but at that point in time, I think the only two people that would have been even semi-visible would have been you and KB. And KB was further in the rocks. You were on that far south end of the rocks, kind of up against it.
Yep.
No, you were a rock back, and you were fighting with one of the bandits.
Yeah. I had
Yeah.
Moonbeam.
So that would have kind of been, I want to say that would have been about roughly about the last thing you would have saw as you kind of took off. You knew their plans to head towards Riley. That was the last plan that they had given you, Axel, is that they were still pushing forward. But you wouldn't have seen them actually physically take off towards Wiley.
Sure.
You just knew the plan for it.
Sure, we'll go with that version for posterity's sake. So the last thing I'll say in game was they had begun to take off, but by that point I wasn't going to just let you lie there and dive into the middle of combat. So I made the decision to leave.
Understandable. Because I think we weren't in a position to have a fight like that. Especially knowing, or fighting Wiley before, and knowing how formidable he was. With damage being done to the party, and then with somebody being exhausted and another individual being unconscious. Yeah, I would say that was the smart call. To just try to get away somehow. So
Right.
you left, and then did everybody meet back up at some point?
Once things died down, I did eventually circle back around, and we continued on our way towards Molten Hammer. Spent another night before we eventually arrived, and the rest you know.
Oh boy. So I take it they're probably not happy, or are we not sure about that?
They seemed as such. I didn't really care enough to check.
Well, I suppose I'll try to poke that bear tomorrow. No use doing anything tonight. You need to rest anyway.
Not until I finish this. And he sort of looks down. Throughout the course of the conversation, which is probably taking around like half an hour to an hour, he has set up his mess kit into an improvised portable cook station. In one big pot, he's pulled out what looks to be the ingredients for a beef stew, and he's been letting it simmer for, let's say the setup time took like 15 minutes, so he's been letting it simmer for like the past 45.
The frying pan into the fire. Not a metaphor. So I'll probably just be digesting everything that you explained, kind of thinking everything over while I'm watching you make what you're making and admiring probably the smell of everything. Just watching very contently.
While this takes another 45 minutes to cook, is the other group doing anything? Sort of pass the mic over since I've been talking a lot.
Honestly, I think having been in the desert for this long, Sophia and I'm guessing patients too would enjoy just being able to lie on a bed, maybe wash some of the sand out of our hair. Sophia's got some things she wants to read up on. some new spells to practice. I think she would enjoy having a time away from, surviving and just being able to relax for a little bit.
Yeah, because after I mess around with my plant, if I get sand out of places that sand shouldn't be, probably clean
It's
up,
everywhere.
rest.
It's later
Yeah.
in the evening, but not super late. Patience is just gonna get up and I'm just gonna go for a walk real quick. She kind of gets up and smiles at the group and just kind of is gonna go on like a little tiny walk outside of the inn. Just kind of gets fresh air. After she washes up, of course, because she stinks real bad.
I will, if it's okay, I'll just share some of the food um, that Evelyn ordered, and then I'll ask her. I was gonna say downstairs. Are the rooms upstairs? Did I imagine that?
They're in like a separate building. We took like a little skyway to get there, but I think we'd still be on like the second floor.
Yeah. I guess skyway to me means like another, like we're elevated. There's like levels, right?
Correct. There's a upper floor and a
Okay.
bottom floor.
Yeah. So I'll kind of share a meal with Evelyn, so to speak, and then I'll just say like, hey, I'm gonna go downstairs and just have a couple drinks. You don't mind, do you? I'll give you some time to yourself with the room, or you're welcome to join me if you want. But
Nah, she's gonna stay here and work on her plant observation log.
perfect. I'll be downstairs at the bar if you need me. I'll be back later tonight, but feel free to, like I said, use the room for yourself if you'd like. And I'll go down and just order a couple brews. I'm not necessarily trying to do anything. I think that's just a little bit of a comfort zone. So I'll just spend a few hours there.
Okay. So you make your way down to the bar to have a couple and just kind of unwind. What you'll notice is that even though Patience said she was going on a walk, you do find her downstairs, sitting on the far end of the tables, having a drink to herself. She kind of looks up as you come down the stairs yourself, and she kind of like gives you one of the waves. And then she continues to go back as she takes her fingers. She's just kind of playing with her drink and takes a sip every once in a while.
Yeah, I'll go. Is there a spot? I guess I'll go sit next to her, but I won't say anything. Right? maybe this is like maybe this is like an alcoholic thing, but like you ever see a buddy at a bar and like you're just
You just
like,
go
oh,
sit.
I'll sit with you,
Yeah.
but I'm not speaking to them. I'm just gonna sit next to you and drink
Yeah,
some
no,
beers.
it's just the comfort of having somebody by. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She welcomes and she kind of raises her hand up and she places a coin down, and another drink gets served next to you and a pitcher gets put down in front of the two of you. And she slowly kind of grabs the pitcher, pours your drink, and sets it down. And she just kind of gives you like a half grin, kind of like one of those welcome to the table.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a drink here. Okay. Evelyn, you are left alone to your own devices in your room. Are you doing anything, or are you just kind of hanging out and running a bunch of tests?
I testing foods with my little plant, writing down my observations,
Okay.
going over my notes, checking out the food that's on the plate.
Yeah. Good. A lot of assorted fruits, veggies. There are some meats and some cheeses on there and some crackers. Whatever they cut, whatever this wood was, smells pretty good.
What I'm working on.
Okay. Sophia.
Oh, I already described what I was doing.
Okay, yeah, you were gonna hang out. I forgot about that. Okay. As time kind of passes on, the two of you having a drink downstairs, and the night kind of winds on. People come in and go out as the kind of bar scene kind of fades in. The food kind of comes to a simmer as the beef broth soup kind of comes to its head and its fruition. Um,
Almost.
as it's getting there. It's starting to get the beef stew smell. The veggies are cooking nicely. Um, yeah.
Is Nova
Anybody
still
else?
watching?
Yes.
Once it sort of gets to this point, I'll briefly look up. Don't watch too intently now.
Why not?
My keyboard not working.
Sort of gives a half smirk and reaches back into his backpack. He pulls out a very small vial. It couldn't be more than like an inch or two long. And in the very bottom is this very small amount of what almost looks like blue glitter or blue sand. It's very specky and incandescent. But he uncorks it and pours this very small amount in his hand. In sort of like a circular motion, he spreads it out over the pot, and as soon as it hits the simmering broth, it bursts into a luminous blue flame. The surface of the dish.
My eyes will light up literally as I'm watching it, just with fascination. And just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna bioluminesce to glow with it. And I'll have a smile on my face as I'm watching intently.
He sort of eyes you before going back to it. It dies down in about a minute or so. It's still there, very like as an undercurrent, like when you light alcohol on fire, but nowhere near like the big flame that it was before. But now he starts ladling it out into a bowl. And
Look at you, magician, making things glow.
I can assure you, it's no magic. But as he finishes ladling it out, he hands the bowl to you.
I will happily accept it. And I'll kind of look at you and then look at it, and then I will take my first bite.
Oh, that didn't upload correctly. Hold on.
Said it's reminiscent of like a beef stew.
And a good beef stew it is.
Fried your keyboard, Ginge?
I don't know. It's not working.
Uh-oh.
The lights are partially coming on, and it's not resetting. I've tried all my ports.
Well, you did pour beer on it.
Yeah, I know. Damn it. Very expensive keyboard. Shit.
It's just drunk. Let it sleep it off.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
We'll just have to take it apart, clean it out a little bit, let it, set it upside down, let it dry overnight.
Yep. Fuck.
Ooh, Azure Flame. Symbol? Oh.
kind of a weird, almost like, I don't know, like a weird dish that you've never had before. Um, kind of reminiscent of a little bit of like for us here in the normal world, like a curry almost. It's got a little bit of a zang to it. Um, but the beef and has basically melted into this very delicious broth or brew, and each bite the veggies are extremely tender and easy to eat, and everything else just kind of easily slides down as you kind of get this almost like this taste of what Axel grew up eating.
Hmm. I'll have like a look of delight on my face as I'm eating this. This is really good.
I know that things have kind of been uneasy lately. Not just the last 4 days, but before that. Um, I know you were sort of apprehensive about a lot of stuff, and I I know you probably aren't used to rations like I am, just living off of them. So I I figured I could do this. Um, I've had this last bit of remaining spice for a really long time. I was hoping to maybe pawn it off, and because of how rare it is, maybe get some emergency funds if we ever need it. But he sort of looks over your face, and a sort of look of satisfaction. He's content with this outcome. This is fine too. In fact, no, this is the right way.
I agree. There's lots of ways to make money, and with this being rare, I'm glad that you shared it this way. It was a joy to watch it, and even better to taste it. Plus, I think we're doing okay with money, so we shouldn't have to worry.
I'm glad.
I'm gonna lift my bowl up. I imagine Axel's got his bowl in front of him. Uh, I'm gonna lift it up as if you would cheers a glass, but I want to cheers my bowl with Axel.
I will clink bowls with you.
Yes. And then I'll have a big smile on my face, and I'll continue eating it.
Okay. Easily enough as the soup slides down and tastes delicious. Um, as you sit there and kind of reminisce over the soup and the taste, the night kind of slowly kind of begins to creep up on you. You know, Sophia, you find yourself entranced in several good books that you've kind of picked up. And you find yourself reading one into the next one, gathering information, you know, and new knowledge for you to store. Whereas KB and Patience find themselves downstairs, downing pitcher after pitcher without saying probably more than like 3 or 4 words the entire time. Evelyn sits in her room, slowly poking and prodding on this plant, trying to get some kind of justification, some kind of scientific something. trying to get the plant to do something. And you find yourself kind of totally engrossed into whatever this is and whatever's going on. But each one of you, as the night kind of drags on, you find yourselves, after you finishing the soup and doing the cleanup, you find yourself, crawling into these comfy beds. Nova, the sleep doesn't come as easy to you, seeing as you've been out for 3 days. It takes a lot for you to kind of wind yourself down into that sleep. Axel, the sleep comes. I'm assuming you're going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sleep for you comes fast as the comfort of being in a locked room and being able to get comfy coaxes you into that sleep fast. Where Sophia, several hours later, Patience makes her way back up, extremely plastered. Plops down in the bed, kicks off her clothes in kind of all directions of the room, and immediately starts snoring. You find that usually kind of your cue as you kind of bed yourself in yourself, finding that one good spot in your book to kind of put that bookmarker in. You find yourself coaxing yourself into bed as well as, a couple hours later, KB also makes his way up into the room to find Evelyn poking and prodding this plant with different things, seeing what it will take, what it won't take, what it has taken. You come in as she's scribbling something in this kind of notebook, and she kind of looks up over her shoulder quickly and then goes back to jotting on notes. As each one of you guys beds in and finds that comfort, you guys each fall silently and very relaxed into these deep sleeps, where you guys find yourself back in Molten Hammerkeep, comfortable, relaxing, sleeping. You guys can each do your long rest as you guys find yourself extremely rested, extremely well put together, as you kind of find yourselves coming to, you've slept on these like almost heavy downed goose feathered beds, extremely comfy and relaxing, compared to when you remember your last stay here. But 8 a.m. comes for you, and each one of you awakes in your bed, fully rested, relaxed, and ready for the day. What are you doing?
Are we level 7? Am I remembering that?
Yes, you did level up.
I need to do that. I thought I was like, wait.
Well,
I'm
you
looking
can
at my
level up
character
now.
sheet, and I'm like, was that a dream or something? I didn't. I guess I didn't update it. Okay.
No, we only briefly. He mentioned it briefly last week.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought so. Okay. I don't get anything cool at level 7, so that's okay.
I didn't either. I was super
KB's all
disappointed.
depressed. He's like, I didn't get the
I
nuclear
know.
I was so pissed. Literally got nothing. I'm like, what the fuck?
KB gains skills, anarchy.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I do. I do. I learned a new discipline at 7. Oh shit, I got a lot to read through. I don't know why. I just remembered that you mentioned that, like, at the end of the rest. I was like, I guess I was looking at
Got
my
all
HP.
excited.
I was like, wait a minute. I think it's a little bit higher. Yeah,
You
what
are
to
all
do?
level 7.
I still didn't get anything.
Nothing cool. No nuclear bombs, anything like that.
Oh, I have that in my back pocket.
Yeah, that's what you think.
I do. Deal with it. You just don't like the idea of me having a nuke.
I have ways to deal with it.
No, you don't.
Wiley with a sniper rifle.
I've got 10 levels before that's even a conversation.
Fair enough. End of campaign. Nova just
Burn
going nuclear.
radar to the ground. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's jest.
On
It's in
behalf
jest.
of the Emperor, I can sign this planet.
Become the Lord
and
of
all
Frenzied.
s-
I'm gonna become the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Burn the Erd Tree.
Yeah. But the day greets you. You find yourself in Molten Hammer, relaxed, well rested. Some more so than others. Nova, you're kind of like in a half and half. Like you got a little bit of sleep, but it wasn't a whole lot. But you're well rested from before, so you're kind of in this weird, like almost like a jet lag. Like your body is trying to catch up with what you've been doing,
Yeah,
but it knows
probably
it should have
like a
slept, but you couldn't sleep.
rested, like probably mentally, but body grog from not moving around and sleeping so much. So yeah, that makes sense. I would probably wake up early then. Stretch. I imagine Axel's up. He's usually up with the dawn.
As always.
Good morning. You feeling any better today?
A nod.
Good. Imagine I'll take a couple good nights of rest to really feel back to normal.
Probably.
But one night's a good start. Well, should we face the day? I imagine we have some grievances to air.
Might as well.
I'll get up and get myself ready to exit the room. And probably after a few minutes, I will head out of the little lodging section and go across the way to the actual tavern section.
Mhm.
And go find an empty table, especially if nobody's there yet. I don't know if anybody's down.
Patience would have been up, but Patience got up and did a little workout first. Yeah. I don't know if she would have left the room. I feel like she would have just worked out in the room. Next to Sophia, maybe? Sophia?
Yeah, I'm up in my room. Swing. Probably go to bed once Patience comes back up.
Yeah. She went to bed right next to you, but I meant like this is the next morning, and I'm assuming she got up and she probably didn't leave the room. She probably worked out next to you. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go down and get breakfast with her.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys both wake up together after her daily workout routine. You kind of wake up slowly. Morning. Should we get breakfast? We gonna say anything to them today, or we just gonna leave it be?
Are they here?
I don't know. Are
Oh,
they?
I'm
yeah.
hoping we just never
Ev-
see them again.
Evelyn's the only one that's
Yeah,
in.
I don't know about. Yeah, I mean, no skin off my back, furball. I mean, it didn't really help us all that much, but I don't know. Love to know his reasoning, but could really care less too. Let's go find KB and
His reasoning's not complicated.
well,
He cares about Nova and not us. That's not going to change. Clearly, because he refuses to recognize what we've done for him. There's nothing more we can do.
yeah, you got a point.
You literally sacrificed yourself to save him and Nova. You're still in this damn contract because... And how many times has he thanked you for it?
Yeah. Fucking forgot about that contract. We gotta go talk to that bitch today. Or
We
tomorrow.
have to wait and see what Needle's plan is still.
Shit.
I don't necessarily know how to find her.
I think she said she'd find us, but I'm not.
That's kind of what I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
too, so I'm happy just to, I don't know, maybe stop around and get our, find some of that good food you can find.
We'll have to see if we can find anything.
Do
Well,
our
let's
best at staying out of trouble. We're good at that, right?
all we do is get in trouble. Well, let's go find KB, huh? KB and Evelyn, and see if they want to get some breakfast.
I'm gonna go over and check my closet to see if KB is sleeping in the closet.
I think he was sleeping in Evelyn's
Evelyn's
room, wasn't
closet.
Okay, so I'll open it
Yeah.
up and he won't be there.
Huh?
he? Yeah.
Evelyn's closet sounds like a clothing retail store in a college town.
Or like an old
person's-
antique, like artisanal
Yeah.
clothing store in some like old
Evelyn's
downtown
closet.
strip.
Evelyn's closet.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I guess Evelyn had the nicer closet.
I mean, she obviously wore a lot of clothes, obviously. I mean, it's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap shopping.
What if I spread a little bit of dirt on the ground in the closet? You think that would entice KB to sleep here?
I love
Where'd you
that
get the dirt?
mentality.
I'll keep it in the back of my head. I might. If I see some dirt out and about today, maybe I'll.
I was gonna say, Patient's question would be, "Where'd you get the dirt?" And you know, he's kind of a freak and a king for it, but he's got a weird thing. He's got to be specific, I think. All right, well, let's go find them real quick and see what they want to do today. Kind of not in the mood, but yeah, we'll see. She kind of stands up, stretches, makes her way towards the door, turns over her shoulder, and looks at you, Sophia. You coming? So.
That's a no.
Through the door, Patience walks. She walks over and she kind of, with her foot, doesn't even use her hand, she kind of kicks the bottom of the door. Evelyn.
I'll answer it.
You see Patience and Sophia kind of hanging out in the hallway. Morning. Breakfast? Drinks? I don't know. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna open the closet door. Is KB still in there?
KB.
Yep.
KB's curled up in a little ball, huddled
All
around
on
all
his
this stuff.
dirt.
Laying on his dirt.
Does KB want breakfast?
If you wake him up.
I'm gonna try and wake KB up.
Yeah,
Gently, nicely.
Yeah, I'll get up and see you, and I'll see. Are we heading down?
Yeah.
Let's get some food. Boring up here and I'm
Alright.
hungry.
I'll roll up my. Well, actually, we're probably gonna stay here another night, so I'll just leave my things and I'll get ready to head down.
You guys all kind of slowly make your way back out into the hallway, and downstairs to kind of the main dining room area, and you find a table. There's the 3 large tables that kind of run the room, or run the whole of the room, and you're easily able to find a spot where, you know, you 4 can kind of sit with room.
Would we
Yeah,
have
well-
arrived down there before them? Is kind of the question. Or would we
Did you
have
guys
come
get
in
up
af-
and yeah, I was gonna say, did you guys get up and just go straight down?
Pretty much. I mean, it took a few minutes to kind of get ready, but
Sophia's slow in the morning. Patience is not. So if Patience had waited for me to go down, then we'd be definitely second.
So
Fair.
then you guys would come down to see Nova and Axel sitting at the table, at one of the tables.
I'll notice them walking in, and I'll kind of pick my hand up a little bit, like to greet.
How many people are down here?
3, 4. It's pretty early in the morning. Not a lot of people in
And
yet.
I'll whisper to patients, clearly loud enough for them to overhear us.
Looks like they found us.
Yeah, they did. What are we doing? This is awkward.
Go somewhere else for breakfast.
You just want to leave?
I don't want to talk to them.
KB?
Go to.
Evelyn? What do you want to do?
I say we just. I'll tell Sophia. I say we just get a table over there and kind of signal to the other side of the thing, and say if they want to join us, they can, and if not, that's okay too.
We just leave it so?
Place is big enough for the 6 of us.
Yeah, I'll pick the table as far away from their table as we can. That's
Okay.
it, 4 people.
The group, they kind of look in your general direction. You watch them kind of whisper a little bit, Nova, as they walk past your 2 area, and they pick the center table on the far end closest to the door, and then the 4 of them sit down.
Oh boy. So Nova's just gonna replay the memory of being locked in the demiplane and being targeted for no reason, being leaped over, and being treated as if she is not trustworthy when she had not displayed any negative reasons towards the group for that. And now, after being asleep for 3.5 days,
You're in the shit again.
feeling a lot of betrayal and unnecessary disdain towards herself for not being a part of anything for the last 3.5 days. So that little trigger is gonna snap a little further.
As you guys kind of sit alone, and the sting hits as the group of 4 walks past you 2 and sits themselves on the farthest opposite end of the table. As food, drinks, and breakfast are beginning to be served, you guys can mark off like 1 silver for like your drinks and breakfast, roughly. I think that's where we'll end it today, as you guys kind of start the day.
Probably for the better, because
in your 2 separate groups, because it could go a lot of different ways from here.
yeah.
So, thank you for coming, group and people. We are at an impasse where the group is going to have a very interesting sit-down.
I don't know about that, Jin.
It'll be, something's going to come to a head or it won't, and there will be some discussions.
I don't know about that.
As the party as a whole, we will see where things take us, as difference in opinions have come to a head with the party, going in one direction versus another direction. Do they meet halfway? Do they find some kind of path that leads them parallel to one another? Or is this it for the Motley Crew?
Alright, stream, thanks for hanging out. We will be back next week, Wednesday, 8:30 Central. Until then, have a great weekend, be safe, be kind, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!